welcome to the Block 9 Podcast Live Lounge. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, it's been a good few weeks now since we've been on a live, and you know what? It's been nice to have some time out. You know, and it's been a bit quiet recently, isn't it? We thought we would just come on tonight and just have another chinwag because not much has been happening, has it? Well, evening, Carl. Evening, Gav. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
We did have Andy, but he seems to have disappeared. He was moving from one room to another, and now he's gone for good. So hopefully we'll get him back soon. But yeah, evening everyone. Good to have you on. Yeah, lots going on. And with Sophie's with me watching tonight. She enjoys us doing these live shows. So yeah, we welcome you in. If you are new to us, then yes, we are the Block 9 podcast. Yes, I know, Sophie. So we talk everything about Argyle, and we've been doing this since the start of last season. So we welcome you if you are new to us tonight. So yeah, we're going to discuss a few things. But first of all, Gavin, what have you been up to much over the initial, post-season so far?
Most of the players went on holiday, did my thing. Been receiving some small floppy unsolicited pics from you, which always handy. You can explain that one later. I'm busy at work, so yeah, no, half term was lovely. Took the kids away. Oh, here he comes. Did you have to empty your commode, old man? What's going on?
Andy's back.
I'm back in the room, everyone. Did you miss me? No.
Yeah, what?
Clearly not.
I said you were moving rooms and you lost your signal.
You should have pressed the call bell.
My signal to change over to my my external Wi-Fi connection. I'm all right now. I'm here.
How have you been post-season, Andy? Been up to much?
Oh, do you know what? It's been a ball fest. No football apart from this TST, whatever it's called. I haven't been following that, to be fair. But no, not much. Been working. Just doing odds and ends, really. Looking after the grass growing and stuff like that. And yeah, walking the dog.
Excellent. And Carl, so happy anniversary. He's decided to celebrate his wedding anniversary by coming on and doing the live. So I'm sure Mrs. Barnard is well and truly pleased with that. Carl, how you doing?
There's no better way to celebrate your anniversary than spending it with you lot, is there?
Well, absolutely. Look, and you get to announce it on the live show tonight.
Exactly.
That's going to be a playback time.
So I'm expecting a letter to drop on my doormat next week from this live. That might end the 11 years. No, I'm joking.
Can I suggest that you finish the pod tonight by serenading your good wife?
That's a possibility. I don't want to get cut off.
Classic.
Is that how I think about it?
No, it's definitely a no. Definitely a no.
Oh dear.
Brilliant. So yeah, well look, guys. It's been an interesting past week or so, hasn't it? I mean, we've seen, new signings coming in, people leaving, and a certain person that dropped us in the shit, but other than that, I think it's been pretty good. So, for those that are new to us, we do like on our live lounges to do a little bit of a presentation, slide deck, just to talk through what the points that we're going to discuss. Very much just a bit of a different style that we like to bring to it. Normally, we would also in a season have our Sunday show where we review the match and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, as Sophie's sitting there in the background, bless her. So we shall crack on because this one... Yeah, it could be a long one, but we'll see. And of course, get your comments in the chat, whatever platform you're using, fire the comments in, and we will show them up. As we've got Ninja Matt, who's in tonight as well, and always joins us on these lives. So good evening, Matt. Evening, lads. He says, pretty quiet since the last one. Not sure there's much to talk about exactly. And we've got Marcus, also regular in there. Disgusting behaviour, Carl, on your anniversary, lovely boy. Yeah, absolutely. So we shall crack into it. So let me just skip the first slide. So normally I would do a little bit of news update. So I shall start that as normal and we'll get into a bit of the details. So some departures, some arrivals, and a couple of other things to bring up. So yes, Miron Muslic leaves the club. That's all we'll say on that one. David Ray has also moved on. He was the CFO at Argyle and did a very good job at that. And he has now moved to Bolton, where he is now CEO. So he's taken the top reins there and obviously joined Stephen Schumacher in the process. Another person that's following them to Bolton is Jimmy Dickinson. He's got, I think, another week or two of his gardening leave at Argyle, but he did officially himself obviously announce it on social media as well. So big up to Jimmy and all the work that he's done over the years for us as well. Some brilliant signings we can definitely vouch for there. Grimshaw going off to Norwich, no surprise there really with that one. At the end of the day, so are we going to be looking for a new number 2, or are we going to be on the lookout for a even a new number 1? Hopefully not. I think Hazard will certainly be going nowhere. And obviously Jordan Houghton announced today that leaves the club and heads for Stevenage, and we've got a little slide that we'll bring up in a minute on Houghton. Arrivals, obviously David Fox, head of football operations, former player, announced sort of fairly soon after the end of the season. Great appointment there. It's going to be interesting to see how he fares in his new role. And he's then accompanied by Tom Randall, who's the new head of recruitment. Tom, who was actually supporting the club, we'll touch upon it a bit more over the sort of end of the season when Jimmy Dickinson was put on gardening leave and then officially appointed. Excited for that one. And of course, some of the player arrivals. So Jamie Patterson on a free, Caleb Watts on a free, Jack McKenzie on a free, and Bradley Ibrahim for an undisclosed fee. We will take you through a deck on each of those. And just a couple of final announcements. Marie Hurahan is the new Argyle head coach. And also, we've had the TST recently. So just to summarise, has any of you watched that, gents? I've caught clips and the highlights, but I haven't watched too much on it. Carl, you seen any of it?
I didn't see the game today. I saw the one previous, which was quite the Dortmund game. That was quite a difficult game. I think the keeper didn't have his best game, because the first couple of games he played really well, did some really good saves, and we looked like we could go far in the competition. But yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, and I hope we put some more teams across there in the coming years, because it is a nice distraction away from the season and a bit of good fun, I thought, overall.
Yeah, and the brilliant American commentary. Just on the
a lot better than the Orlando Pirates one, I must say.
Yeah,
at least you could pronounce the names.
Well, the score lines were Argyle won their first game against Drunken Monkeys. What a great name that is. 4-3. That went into the sort of the knockout bit where you lose players and stuff. I haven't really paid too much attention to the rules, but it was good to win that. And then they went on to beat Freedom United 1-0, which secured them into the next round. And then they had a bit of a freebie really against Borussia Dortmund, but got beat there. And then the eventual knockout game where they lost. That was earlier on today, wasn't it? Like a 2:30 kickoff or something. So the TST, and it was good to see Graham Carey back in an Argyle shirt. A lot of obviously attention because of the sort of potential links and people wanting to see him join for another year. I don't know, Gavin. It was great seeing him in a kit. I actually love seeing David Norris, in fairness, as well, in his Argyle top. But would you take Carey on another year? I mean, he scored the first goal as well, didn't he, in that tournament?
I think he scored 3 altogether. It's really hard to tell. It's a bit like rugby sevens. This, you can't really judge any. Sorry, Matt, I got my first rugby.
I was just going to say that.
Not even trying. Actually, I didn't try that one. But it's not football. This TST. It's lovely. It is really entertaining. I really like the whole sort of, right, you think you want it full time, but now we're going to put another score on and it's first to that, and you start 5-5-5, then 4-4, 3-3. So it's quite interesting, that whole format, but you can't tell how good a player Graham Carey is out of that. The pitch looks really wobbly. The ball looks, some look like over pumped, some look flat. It's a good spectacle, but you couldn't, I don't think, 1 second say this guy's useful and he should be coming back to us. I'd like to say that we've got very competent professionals now in a position in Tom Randall and David Fox who can make that decision for us. But the sentiment in me says, wouldn't it be nice to see him weaving that left peg of his and ripping back the net on a few occasions, but maybe sentiment's not really the place to be when you're trying to get back into a division you've just been relegated from. I don't know.
No, I do. And just to point out, folks, everything's still on a budget here. You can see we still can't afford lights for Gavin, so he's still in the dark. Hopefully, one day
we'll go to the shop to try and get some 50p pieces because the meter's not quite working. So it comes on. She's found some 50p's from the neighbours. All right.
There we go. So just picking up, I mean, Ninja Matt just said as a pit in the comments, can we have at least half an hour slating Miron? Still trying to get it out of my system. Yeah, look, I think we don't want it because a lot of every other people have touched upon it, and obviously it's just a bit, shock. Was it surprising? Yes and no, depends on how you were looking at it. I do agree with a lot of the thoughts on it being all part of the Miron PR plan, certainly. But yeah, I think with Simon's statement, which we'll touch upon a bit more later, and it coming out that he asked for Miron's reassurance and got that, and then almost a week or so later told that I'm going to leave the club. I want to speak to Schalke, and regardless, I'm not coming back. So considering all the professionalism and honouring your contract and all the sort of speeches that he gave, and he goes and does the dirty himself. That's football, but we move on. It's a shame, we pulled him out of nowhere really. Surprise appointment, didn't start great. Complete change of system, but then it started to work. It was just not enough time to keep us in the championship. But yeah, to go and do that says it all, really. Carl, just sort of, you can touch up on if you want on Miron. I really don't want to bring too much of a negative tone to the show on this, but looking at the list of people there as well, obviously, Jimmy, he lives near you, or won't be anymore. But yeah, it's a shame to see him go. And, do you know what? I think his record is pretty good at the end of the day, with the appointments he brought in.
Yeah, I think his overall success rate of what we've brought in over recent years has been to a good standard. Obviously, our championship winning season was brilliant. We got in some really good players in that season and the season before. Obviously, since we got up to the championship, it's always going to be difficult with our budget to try and kind of repeat that success with trying to bring in players for what we could afford. Some worked, some haven't, and some are still, hopefully can show us, like Al-Hajj and Beidou next season. Hopefully they can start showing us why we brought them to the club, and I still believe that they have got futures here, especially if we kind of change our style of play a little bit. If we go a little bit more attacking or a little bit more possession based, then I think we'll start to see them show their worth a little bit more. But I think he's got a lot of flack in recent weeks when we kind of knew he was leaving. But I think he's done a fantastic job, and I wish him all the best up in Bolton.
Yeah, no, exactly, absolutely. And obviously, so Beidou, Al-Hajj, both obviously brought in before Miron's appointment, in fairness, but the two players that, it's going to be an interesting one when we come on to the player signings as well in a minute, and how much of those were based around Miron's style. We're going to talk about, no surprise later on, potential management appointments and the rumour mill that's been going round with, so we've selected a few managers to talk on that. Andy, obviously, if you want to say something on Miron yourself, fine. Obviously, Grimshaw to Norwich, though, that's sort of probably the right move for both parties. Really didn't have a great tenure at all, did he? And then obviously Jordan Houghton going as well.
Yeah, I mean, Grimshaw had some good games for us. He made some good saves, but in the end, we leaked too many goals under him, especially in the Rooney era. I think it's a right move for him. He's going to get, he might get regular football up there. We don't know yet. But certainly, Houghton deserves something different. Stephen is just going to be good for him. It's going to be a good move for him. He's going to get regular football there, and it'll be a chance for him to sort of shine amongst. We don't know what sort of Stephen you like, but I thought it was a bit sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Not. I don't want to be disrespectful to him. He's going to shine in that team like Stevenage rather than being a bit part in our team.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Nice
I mean,
thing.
he's been a good stalwart, and when he was called upon as well last season, he was generally very solid. I think there was that stat, wasn't there, that when Randall and Houghton started together, we didn't lose games, and that's testament. And so we got a bit of a slide just to summarise that earlier. Grimshaw, let his hand. Sorry, yeah, definitely right move. Coming at such a time where things weren't going well. The team themselves were just imploding. I don't blame him on all of that because but it was not good. So if we've managed to sort of just break even on him, then great. And obviously he can stay up there in the championship, and we wish him well on that. So
I don't think Norwich have signed him as their number one. They've said in the press that they're going to be signing a few goalkeepers because Angus Gunner's left. So yeah, he'll be
Only fired again, didn't they?
warming the bench for Norwich. And just to quote your good friend Argyle Memes, said he's got hands like poppadons.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
So and obviously Carl, just to point out, is rocking the new shirt. So just what I'd say, we do have this fantastic designed Ryan Hardy Block 9 t-shirt. So I put that on, and then everybody said, well, what happens if he leaves? He ain't gonna leave. I mean, he's talking new terms, so we hear. Gavin, anybody of note then from that? Obviously good appointments with David Fox, Tom Randall. We will touch upon them a bit more later, but yeah, anything from you there?
I'm a little bit surprised / shocked that we didn't go for a true director of football. Although I think if they knew that Miron was burrowing his way out of home park like the Great Escape without anybody knowing, with a teaspoon, they might have gone for a more senior director of football rather than a head of football operations. I think Foxy will do a great job, and I have to say that between Foxy and Randall, they've had an outstanding start to the summer. I think we're about 50% further down the road than we've been in any June since I remember. Signing 4 players by the 1st or 2nd of June, I think, is a really good sign. It feels like there's going to be a bit of harmony back, and I'm hoping that Adin stays. I have to say, I don't know whether or not. I don't know whether the announcement's certainly slow in coming from that team over the pond that sounds funny beginning with S. On whether they're going to poach anymore. I don't know whether, with the compensation being lower than advertised, that means that they've managed to negotiate that without taking any of the staff. I'm not sure. I know that was a thing. So we'll see on that one. But I honestly think that there'll be some harmony back in the ranks. David Fox, on my talks with people that used to work at the club when he was there, say that he is an absolutely outstanding human being, which is a good start, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think he's probably had a promotion a bit sooner than he thought, but I think there's a bit of sentiment in how the club runs with the culture in the area, which is really useful. I think certainly when him and Tom are signing players, getting to understand that he had finished a very good career down here and he can talk players into the fact that it's a nice place to live will be useful. So I'm happy with that. I think I'm really happy with the signings. Patterson's not got a fantastic record, but he's played a lot of games with the champ with Swansea and Coventry and others, Derby, I think. So that's great. Caleb Watts, to quote someone, I don't know whether it was Memes or whether it was Mr. Voodoo, but we'll take who we want when we want from those little tin pot club up the road. That's quite nice. It looks like he's got a massive ceiling ahead of him, and he's an exciting player for the future. How quickly he'll drive into gear and become a force in League One this year, I don't know, but I think him and Caleb Roberts will have an interesting dynamic, sort of in and out and playing that sort of third or fourth row midfield, I would imagine. Jack McKenzie, I love. Anyone who gets hit by a chair and is pissing blood out of his head the following Saturday, for me, is an absolute cult hero without kicking a ball for us. So that's wonderful. And Ibrahim, I know nothing about really other than what I've seen on the highlights reel, but he has got a ping of a right foot from 30-odd yards, and I'm looking forward to seeing that hitting the back of the net on Wednesday. But all in all, I can't grumble. My only grumble, I love my little Miron grumble, is I spent, excuse my French, fucking hours researching his previous club's style of football, right, thinking that's not going to bear fruit this season, and I've done all the hard work. Now I can sit here like a smug bastard. Oh, no. You just bugger
Yeah.
off. And I did about 4 days worth of watching games of Cercle Bruges over the period of the last few months. So that's all gone to absolute waste, unless Miron stays. Unless Adam stays, in which case it hasn't. But there we are. I'll
No.
my hat.
Yeah, definitely. No, we did. Well, I mean, Gavin's just summarised the whole show there, folks. Thanks for joining tonight. We should.
Good night, all.
But no, the show that we did, it's all available on YouTube. You can go back and look at all the shows. They're also linked up.
So shut your noise.
Sorry, say again. I didn't hear you then, Gav. Sorry.
So at least Ninja Matt agrees with me. Shut your noise. I've just seen his comment card.
Let me pick that one up there. But yeah, no, always good banter on here. But yes, you can catch previous shows and all that lot on our YouTube channel. You can also find them equally on the block9.co.uk. But yeah, Ninja Matt, absolutely agree with Gav. A good start to the summer, some really decent additions. Ibrahim looks a steal. Foxy and Randall seem like a real new start for us. I'm just hoping for Wilshire now. So yeah, actually, we've done this in order of sort of the way things panned out, really. Yeah, just what Gavin was saying there, you know, Tom Randall coming in, got to get myself with these Randalls and Randells, but yeah, joined us. It was obviously confirmed that he had been supporting the club, fairly into at the start of the new year. So obviously Jimmy Dickinson was put on gardening leave for whatever reason. That's just what that is. And obviously he was helping the club with was it Stuart Webber is his name, as supporting and going through things, and then obviously officially appointed. So, you know, a couple of key points on him: a data-driven approach, which obviously will tick boxes for Simon Hallett, as we all know. So expertise in that and modern scouting methods, proven experience, with Forest Green Rovers, Swansea City. He's a player profiling specialist, as it says here, and long-term vision. So modernising acquisition strategy, savvy, EFL savvy, and future focus. So I think when you look at the appointment of Randall versus Fox, Carl, I'll come to you. The fact that Randall has been Tom has been dealing with the club and supporting the club, and obviously then these signings started to come through, and we'll touch upon each of them a bit more in a minute. It's something's obviously working. Yes, we know 3 out of 4 of them are on a free, and some people have gone, oh, that's not really exciting, is it? Because they're free transfers. But the way that we end up doing things and doing business, we have to be a bit clever and smart that way, don't we? Because we're not just going to go out and get loads of players for a few quid.
Yeah, exactly. And it's nice to see we've acted really early for a change in the summer. The earliest I think I've known in recent years, we brought in 4 players already. Yeah, like you said, some are free transfers, but you're always going to get free transfers. I'm sure we've got some money saved up for when the manager gets announced, and I'm sure he'll put across some ideas or thoughts into some players he might want for his style of play. So I'm sure he'll have a say in some future signings. But yeah, Tom's done a great job already. Shows that he was prepared when he came in, putting his plans together, and yeah, I'm really impressed with the signings so far. And yeah, let's see if we can spend a little bit of money in the coming weeks.
Yeah, no, and I think that's for someone like David Fox coming in as well, Andy, it's sort of come to you. It's good reassurance, isn't it? He's come in. The club has gone through a lot of disruption. Over the last season, you're not necessarily sure what you're going to walk into. I mean, to be approached and be interviewed, and I think he was just about to go. Was it Leicester? He took that job for a week or so, and then obviously left. To take this up, and who wouldn't? It's great that he's come in, and straight away, you've got some players that are coming in and getting signed, and it sort of that must give you a good confidence boost. That right, yeah, let's crack on and get more of this done.
Yeah, I mean, he's been thrown in at the deep end, really, hasn't he? You think he's coming in to sort of support Muslic, and then Muslic decides that he wants to go somewhere else, so he's left holding the can, if you like, with Randall. So he's doing a good job at the moment in recruitment and helping recruitment, that process. He knows the club inside out. He knows what's needed. He's got a lot of information about how we want to play and stuff. So he's pretty savvy about it all as well, isn't he? I know you put down there, he's EFL savvy, but Fox is, he's part of our heritage, isn't he? He's part of our club that got promoted, with Carey and stuff. He was a great player in his time as well with us. So, yeah, he's going to add to the backroom staff massively because he's passionate about it. He loves the club. So I can only see good things coming from him and from Randall.
Yeah, it definitely, Gavin, you deal with a lot of senior leaders in businesses and and equally myself, and it's when you're coming into a place and there's a lot of pressure on. I see it where I work, and I'm like, right, okay, I've been sort of at the range for 20 years, so I look at people coming in and go, okay, what are they going to bring to the table? And it's always a bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? But when you come in and you're going to be welcomed, and you've got some great people that helping now want to grow the club and move it forward, it's brilliant for him, isn't it?
Yeah, and I actually don't think sometimes it hurts to start a new big role with a bit of turbulence, because when you get yourself thrown into that and you come out the other end, you all but staple your legacy and your stamp on that business far quicker than if it's all calm waters and you're in sort of developing yourself and developing your role and trying to find your place in the organisation. So the fact that he came in and within, what was it, a week, now trying to find a new head coach and all the other connotations to go with it, I think will make him in this role, because he had already earned stripes before the ball's been kicked for the first season he's in. So I think that's a really good, although he probably won't think at the minute, he's probably working around the clock, bless him. I think when he reflects and sits down in September and we've got a few games under our belt, he might think, actually, this has been great for me, because it's a new role for him and it's first promotion into a head of football role. So he's had no time to learn the ropes. He's been chucked in at the deep end and he's swimming perfectly, I think, at the minute. So it's a really good, I think, early statement from a guy who, as you've all said, knows the club really well.
Yeah, it's you couldn't have wished for a tougher challenge to start a role like that with having to, find a new manager when effectively, as again, Simon Allett's statement, you alluded to that, they were happily planning. Miron was involved in a number of these, if not all of these player appointments, with conducting interviews remotely. So it's certainly a shock to the system. Gavin, do you think, you touched upon it earlier, do you think, and I mean this with the greatest respect to David Fox, but do you think Argyle maybe took a bit more of an easier option, rather, like you touched upon, not going for a more experienced and a director of football? This did make me wonder whether or not there was something there. Then there was a sudden change. They went for David Fox, and whether or not that annoyed Miron to the point of then considering options. What's your thoughts?
I think, reading between the lines, and certainly listening to people like Scott Coyne and others on podcasts, and actually just randomly whilst out walking listening to other European football podcasts, it seems like we should have, or we were looking to implement, a director of football in its purest form, which in the continent, as you know, they set the whole stand, the whole stall out, right? And just put over there and coach the team. In England, obviously, for a long time, it's been manager-led. So, if you take Ferguson, you take Arsene Wenger, and you have a general manager of a club like American baseball or football team. The director of football in the continent sets a stall out. I think that's the way they were looking. My guess is, and it's only a guess, but my guess is that Miron probably didn't fancy being told what, where, why, and when to do it, because he obviously had a lot of freedom, even though he complained about that freedom remotely or succinctly, in the back end of the season's press conferences, and we know probably why he did that now. But I think if he had a tight-gripped, really seasoned director of football over him, he wouldn't have had the wriggle room.
Yeah,
so that's probably why they went. In this instance, and I'm purely guessing, for David Fox. I think it's probably in the long term going to be a blessing in disguise, because you're going to have someone who's going to learn the Argyle way, the culture. He already knows the culture, but he's going to learn that role in an organisation where he can develop himself in the spirit of the philosophy of the club, which I think isn't going to hurt us. And Foxy could be here now for years and years and years and years, which would be a great sign with Randall. That'd be lovely, because a good bit of stability. So I'm not worried about it, and I think if you're bringing in a reasonably young head coach, and we'll get onto that in a minute, I think having 3 or 4 individuals there who are in their, let's say, mid-30s to mid-40s, they'll all kind of grow up together, and there'll be a really tight bond between that senior leadership team, which I think will only benefit us, because it will mean there'll be complete unity off the field, which means there'll be unity on the field, and we'll get back to that sort of Schumacher, everyone die for the club type mentality, which got us up the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so look, we absolutely wish him well. The club needs a sort of big reset, to sort things out. There will definitely be trust issues, for Simon Hallett and that. That the Miron situation would have, knocked him. Given another manager an opportunity, he didn't deliver on what obviously they wanted him to do in tough and difficult circumstances, and then to go and drop us in it. Just want to bring up a couple more comments, guys. Get your comments in the chat. We'll read them out and share them. And also, if you'd be kind to retweet or reshare the live, and also make sure as well you go and give us a follow. You can find us on X, which we're streaming to as well now as YouTube, and also Blue Sky, Facebook. Just look up Block 9 Podcast or at Block 9 Podcast, and you will find us there. Ben, evening Ben, good to see you in, regular watcher. I hope you're joking. Neil Warnock for 12 months is his suggestion. So put that in there. Ninja Matt again, just stressing Wiltshire for me. Really like the idea of a new, young and hungry head coach. Highly thought of, and with our new fresh backroom team, could be amazing, but I realise probably in the minority. It's a difficult one. We'll come on to it a bit later on. I won't drop too much in there now. So moving on to the next slide. So the player signings in order as they joined us, and they came thick and fast, which was nice to see. So yeah, Jamie Patterson. On a free, from Coventry, physical 6'1" striker, 33 years old, obviously coming to the end of his playing career, but key strengths: aerial dominance, clinical finishing.
He's 5'9". Where did you get 6'1" from?
Well, he's grown since he's joined us. Excellent hold-up play. Excellent hold-up play. We always over-exaggerate. I mean, just because you're really tall, Carl, career stats, 501 games, 82 goals, proven EFL forward, Notts Forest, Swansea, Bristol City, Derby, and obviously, of course, Coventry. So, yeah, going to bring some experience, that's for sure in there, which is not a bad thing, and has worked for us in the past. Carl, what's your views on the, regardless of his height, on Patterson?
Yeah, really solid signing. I think the Coventry fans were a little bit gutted that he chose to leave. I know he didn't have a lot of game time with Coventry, but I think when he did play, he always put in a good shift. Scored a really cracking goal against Portsmouth when he last appeared for them. But yeah, he looks like the type of player we need, especially in League One. We need some extra firepower up front. It's nice to see we've signed a striker early, which we haven't done for the last few windows. And I think he'll help the young lads as well. People like Caleb Roberts, Asaka as well, and Joe Hatch that has just signed another new deal, which is positive news. And I think he's going to be a threat. But yeah, he's not 6'1" or physical, so I don't know where that's come from.
So there you go. It's what it says, Carl. I'm just reading what it says. So we won't dwell on the details.
We won't dwell on the details.
But yeah, Andy, any thoughts on Jamie?
Yeah, a good addition. By all accounts, he only played 8 games for Coventry, didn't he? Scored 1 goal. I think that 1 goal that Carl was talking about was against Portsmouth. So, yeah, a good addition. He's going to put something up front, which is going to give us a bit more strength. He's got a bit of experience there from the Championship, Coventry. So, yeah, I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, no, cool. Right, and then moving on to the next one, then who joined us also on a free and caused a little bit of stir in the camp, didn't it? Up the road. So Caleb Watts, was at Exeter. His contract ended, and he thought, it's better down the road, isn't it? So came to join us, and I thought that I put a little TikTok out, but there was an Exeter fan who was, let's see where he's going first before we, give him any stick. And then when it was announced, the guy had a meltdown. But yeah, Gav, Caleb Watts, what are your thoughts there? You can see his stats there, background, pass accuracy is really strong, in 34 games for Exeter last season, 5 goals, 6 assists. So, yeah, another good signing, would you say?
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, it looks like he plays in a sort of advanced 8 position from what I've read. I've seen his highlight reel, but I'll be honest, read it for too long because I felt a bit nauseous seeing the team in red and white on my screen. So I could only manage it in a couple of minute bouts before I had to turn it off, or I was going to throw up all over my computer screen. But we'll see. I think he's vibrant. It's always nice to get one from up their own net. Let's be candid. If you read their absolute bedwetting session, and once again, I ploughed in on the Unilever stocks once these guys needed to start washing their sheets on a daily basis from pissing the bed. Made a fortune, by the way. It seems like he was their best player last year and has decided that he wants to play for a bigger club. So obviously, Teambridge closed him down, turned him down, so he had to come and sign for Argyle. So it is what it is. But no, all joking aside, looks like he's got a massive ceiling in terms of, I know that's a bit of a buzzword, but massive ceiling in terms of his development. We could flog this guy on in a few years for 5, 6, 7 million quid. That'd be an absolute outstanding bit of business. And either Mr. Randall or Mr. Fox or whoever identified him, it might even be the recently departed Jimmy D. Who knows? We'll get kudos for that. So I haven't seen much of him apart from the small highlight reels. But hey, he looks like a decent player. And if those at the road are crying that they've lost their best player, bring him in and he can come on and change games for the last 20 minutes. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I think another potential exciting one until these players get on the pitch. You can always easily get excited by some new signings. But I think what Argyle are clearly looking to do is balance up the options, and rather than hang around and just hope maybe we'll get a player that's in contract or etc. Might as well start making some moves now. Carl, anything to add on Caleb Watts?
No, I think you guys have covered it. I don't know much about him, to be honest. I think we've just signed him just to piss them off up the road, to be honest. He's not going to play much, is he?
That was worth just bringing him in, yeah?
Yeah, basically. But no, I'm excited to see what he's about. And I think, yeah, he's definitely one for the future. 22 years old. He's got a massive high ceiling. So, yeah, looking forward to see what he can bring.
Yeah. And as Gavin alluded to at the start, anybody who gets a chair thrown at him and then bandages up and carries on, is worth joining in any way, shape, or form. So Jack McKenzie from Aberdeen, left back, 24 years old, got Scottish Premiership experience, energetic, defensively solid, good crosser. So 25 games, no goals, 1 assist. Did play in their cup win as well. First one, I think it was in 35 years. For them, if I recall correctly. Andy, Jack McKenzie, any thoughts on from you on him?
Well, I have heard that he's going to be a good chairman in a few years' time. Having chairs thrown at, goodness sake. I mean,
Tish.
As I spat his coffee out. We've got a song for him already, haven't we? We've got the Dan Scar song, which when you throw a chair at him, he heads it back, sort of thing. He looks a big unit, doesn't he? Solid defender. I've seen a couple of reels from him, especially against Rangers, crunching tackle against one of these Rangers players. He looks, you wouldn't want to mess with him, would you? Especially having a chair thrown at you. But yeah,
no, exactly.
Great addition.
Anything to add on Jack McKenzie, Gavin?
I'm really looking forward to seeing Maxi, who I believe that he is staying, so he'd be better. But if you've got like some really attacking, aggressive players like him, and Maxi in the starting 11, there's going to be fist pumps galore as opposing bodies leave the whitewash and get whizzed into the lower Mayflower and the lower Lyndhurst from a sliding tackle. It's going to be great, isn't it, to see such strong tackling back in the club. It's not a thing that's very common anymore. And I think when I first started watching the club, and obviously when Andy first started watching the club, when they had those boots with corks on for studs. Tackling was far stronger in those days. You could shoulder the goalkeeper in the back of the net and score. It's all got a bit soft, and to have a few cult heroes that are going to smash into challenges and header back chairs and back into the stands. These characters don't exist anymore. So to have someone like that in our club has to be a positive.
I take it, even in Voodoo, good to have you in. He'll take us up the table.
Bypass the chairs though.
Also, Alexander Mills, good evening to you. It feels like the club is having a clean start, so I don't mind Wiltshire or Cleverley, rather them over Buckingham. And also, Alex Miles, sorry, excuse me. Good evening. I like the signing of a couple of younger midfielders that have good potential. I feel that either Wiltshire or Cleverley would be good appointments for us in general, but even better to help them out. So yeah. So let's see. Let's see what happens. But yeah, Bradley Ibrahim, who was the latest one this week, I think it was Argyle Tweets who noted on X that he'd spotted someone being filmed at a home park that resembled him. It took them a little bit of time to get that out, but at least they announced it. So yeah, Bradley Ibrahim, defensive specialist, progressive passer, and a good pedigree. So yes, he did start off, Carl, in the Arsenal youth, and was touted when looking him up as being pivotal for Arsenal's future in midfield. But obviously, as it can do sometimes, some of these young players are sort of bigged up a bit too much, and it doesn't quite work out. And obviously, he was at Crawley all of last season, who got relegated, but. Yeah, there's clearly the lad's got some quality, and recalling correctly, Pleguezuelo was also in the Arsenal youth, so yeah, some potential there, Carl.
Yeah, I think this is our one to watch this season of the signings you've made so far. Again, young, again, massive high ceiling. Has worked with Wiltshire before. I don't know if there's going to be much in that or not, but that'll be interesting to see if he is the new manager, how he can get the best out of him, because he'll know him from his Arsenal days. He's got a cracking strike on him. He loves a yellow card, as we all know. 15 yellow cards last season. I know he said in his Argyle TV interview he needs to try and cut down on that, because obviously we're going to be losing him from bans most weeks otherwise. But yeah, it's what we've missed the last couple of years. Someone in midfield who can be really strong in the tackle and kind of break up play and kickstart another attack. But yeah, I like what I've seen from him in his reels on some of the games I saw last season of Crawley. So yeah, big talent.
Yeah, no, it's. I think you hit the nail on the head. The one to watch, Gavin. He does. Yeah, you don't lose that skill and ability, and as we know with Whitaker and Mumba, sometimes it's just coming to the right club and things click, and suddenly you get that spark back.
It for me, when I saw this and I looked at his highlight reel, this is like the better version of Jay Matete that we've all been craving to absolutely dominate and enforce that midfield, because Randall's great and he does go in hard, but he hasn't got that mentality of being the animal. Panucci Kamara had a little bit of it, but we haven't really had a midfield enforcer since Matete, and it was great, wasn't it? Because when you could build a bet, first thing you do is go yellow card. Matete is banked before you even kick a ball. But no, we need that in all seriousness, and that defensive mind can just break. If we're still going to be transitioning quickly, this is absolute gold dust for me.
Yeah.
And he looks the real deal, as the guys have said. This will be another one that will probably be selling to a Premier League club in 18 months' time, 24 months' time, or whatever, for a big profit. So great, brilliant. Looking forward to seeing him and looking forward to watching his talents on a Saturday.
Yeah, no, excellent. So, yeah, that's all the signing so far. I mean, it's, let's keep that momentum going. Certainly be interesting. Whether or not the whole Miron debacle has sort of caused a little bit of pausing on that. I mean, when we come on to the manager discussion in a minute, there's very much that point of, and Gavin will touch upon it, what was said by the club on what they are going to still look for. So that will definitely sway some of the decision making on who they really want to pit forward for the final selection. Or as some people like to think, it's already a done deal. So yes, Jordan Houghton, I just noticed, got a notification that he's done his announcement now for joining his new side. So yeah, club legend, 184 appearances, 10 goals. He's been a brilliant stalwart, hasn't he? And actually, it was probably right for him to go and get another deal elsewhere and see out the final days of his career. He's obviously been enjoying a nice bit of time in Dubai, where him and the family like to go. So yeah, absolutely big shout out to him and wish him all the best. Andy, your thoughts with Jordan Houghton?
Yeah, do you know what? He's 30 years old now, Jordan is, and just bringing in Ibrahim is going to be a good replacement for him. You know, you have youth over experience. Yes, fair enough, but I think Ibrahim will develop into that role. Jordan Houghton has been a good servant to us. I don't know if he's played that many games, though, to be fair, but anyway, you got the stats there. Yeah, going to miss him. He won a championship with us. He's got that sort of flair about him, isn't he? He can pick a pass. I saw some reels earlier on about in one of the games where I think it was Chelsea in the cup, just passing the ball around. It was like wasn't even looking where it was passing, just hitting it, and it was fun in a white shirt. So yeah, great miss. It'll be a great loss for us, but I think we're going to have people coming into the club who are going to be better. And I saw Marcus's comment earlier on about this guy from Swansea. I don't think that's the answer because he's 32, I think, isn't he? 33.
Right, okay, yeah. No, well, look, I'm just going to read out before I get thoughts from Gavin. So he put out his message at Stevenage. I was trying to just get it out of my head off my phone where he went, but it's Stevenage he went to. So, yeah, leaving the club is never easy, especially a club where you have so many amazing memories on and off the pitch. 4 years, 184 appearances, having the honour of wearing the armband, representing this great club. Chelsea away, the Papa John's Road to Wembley, the Liverpool and Man City FA Cup ties, of course, the League One 101-point champions, and the following year staying in the Championship on the final day. So many incredible experiences made extra special being backed by you, the Green Army. He went on to say, Plymouth will always have a special place in our hearts. When we moved, with our first daughter, Nova, was just 3 months old. And since then, our family has grown from 3 to 4 with our daughter, Aria Ocean, being born here. And yeah, it goes on and on and on. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, it's basically, I'll look forward to playing away at Home Park again this season. And we will welcome him when he joins. So yeah, Gavin, anything further for you to say with Jordan Houghton?
Great servant. Good legacy. I think he's probably left at the right time. I think if he'd had another season and looked behind the pace and off the pace this season, then he might have tarnished that legacy and reputation that he's had. I think being really probably critical in the last handful of games this season, I think he probably had his best games for the club. But if you look at it overall, I think 10 games on loan, wasn't it, those years ago with Chelsea, and then has come back for 4 seasons with what would have been 174 appearances over that 4 years. Has been a stalwart. Him and Randall have kept us in games. He's always put in a good shift, finds a simple pass, never does anything too extravagant, but does the real dirty work in midfield really well. I wish him all the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just say a few words
there we
on
go
Houghton
with
as
some
well?
of the sort of player news, and absolutely don't trust AI to do some of your stats.
Mr. Chairman, I think Carl would like to say a few words on Houghton, actually. If that's all right.
Oh, sorry, I do apologise.
I thought you were going around the table. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Go on, Carl.
Yeah, just want to echo what Gavin said, just about he's left at the right time. I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to move on, so he can get some extra game time because he hasn't played a lot this season, and I think with the age he is, he needs to be starting week in, week out. I don't think he would have got much game time next season with the players we have and the ones we've signed up so far, and the ones potentially still to come in as well. So I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to say his goodbyes now. Great player for us. I just think moving forward, we need fresh ideas, a different approach, and I wish him all the best in his future career. And yeah, he's been a great servant for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alex Mills just pitting up there. Houghton has been a good servant, but agree this is probably the right time for him to move on. Just echoing what you're saying there, Carl. So we move on from that and then come on to obviously the chairman's statement. Gavin waited, quite a while. People were wondering why Simon had obviously stayed sort of under the radar and not come out really with obviously the relegation confirmed. He obviously clarified that himself and Jane, his wife, had some personal issues, so we all respect that. But it was a brilliant statement that he put out, wasn't it? It was honest, it's candid, and it sort of, I think it everybody sort of got a feel then for the situation, and Simon is trying everything to make sure the club is in as strong a position as he can. And obviously the big one that everybody would say, well, that we knew that anyway, and he probably put his foot in it by saying something too early on it, but obviously the investment now, that isn't coming as hoped. But yeah, do you want to sort of give your thoughts on that?
It's nice to see a statement that's obviously clearly been penned by the person who's put it out, which is, unusual. I know there was one from Mr. Parkinson earlier in the year that I think had been heavily edited. This felt like it comes straight from the quill of the Hallett household and then wax stamped and sent by a facsimile or whatever these people do. All joking aside, I thought it was a really honest statement. I liked him fronting up. I liked the apology. I didn't think it was warranted, but there were some bedwetters that wanted it, so they've got it now. Well done, guys. Yeah. Chairman said sorry for all the things he's done. That's obviously intentional, not. I like that a lot. They make mistakes in recruitment, yes, hasn't every person in every business that's ever recruited anybody made mistakes in recruitment? Yes, that is the fact of the world. If you didn't do that, you would be probably the richest man on the planet. I also liked the honesty about the investment. It feels like now they go back to drawing board and they're looking at new interested parties, and that will probably take another 6 months, I would imagine. I think the interesting thing about investment, I know we did something on this a few months back, but it's an interesting process because Simon wants to retain majority shareholder in the first tranche of investment, which means that minority investors are going to have a very different style to build up and come in, and not many people with lots of money like to be subordinate. They like to have the ego and run the place if they're going to invest. So that's, I think, going to be a unique challenge for him and whoever he brings in. But I wish him the best on that. And it was also nice for a bit of personal touch for him to explain why he'd been away. I know there were a lot of people on X and other platforms saying, well, he's just hiding, isn't he? Because we've gone down on that, and well, yeah, he should be out beating his chest in the Mayflower, going, I'm here and take me on, or whatever it was. But things happen in life, and there is more important things in the world than football. Family come first. End of chat. No matter what you are, what you do, how you do it. So I thought it was a really, really good hit every note as far as I'm concerned, the letter, and no doubt he'll be in good position to have the first round table, town hall, whatever you want to call it, of the season, where people are saying, I've bought this hat and I've paid £1.50 for delivery. So I'm sure he's looking forward to that too.
Yeah, no, it was, sort of the timing, with Miron going, and obviously, as he alluded to, the conversations that he had getting his commitment, and then the phone call saying he wasn't coming back. It's certainly that with personal issues going on, it would have been tough. But yeah, absolutely, Gavin. I mean, those that wanted the apology, yes, they've got it, but at the end of the day, Simon is a fan, and he's in the fortunate position that he can own the club that he loves, and he wants to try and do everything to ensure it succeeds, I
thought he was really classy around the Miron thing, because he obviously very honest and said, I rung him and blah, blah, blah. I don't think we should dig up this old grave again, because whatever comes out of the grave will smell. But I like the way that he was like, look, I spoke to him myself. He committed to me. He hasn't committed to me. That often that gets brushed aside, and it was like we had communication and everything looked positive. But to call him out in a way that was, I think, still professional, I thought was really, really good.
Yeah, no. Andy B just also saying, even Andy, very refreshing to read such an open statement. And then also Sarah Mason Palmer, good evening. We can't please everybody, can he, Sarah? To be fair, Hallett has been hiding most of the season. She says when we were doing well, we had regular chairman chats. Now we're rubbish. He's nowhere to be seen. Look, everybody's going to have their opinions on it, and it's right to bring up a mixture on here. But Carl, I think it's so easy. We say it many times when it comes up, this topic on the pod. When you're not the owner of a club or running it or a business, it's it's not easy. You try and do your best, but you're always going to get ridiculed for one reason or another, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we knew about the investment wasn't really going to happen. I think that was the only disappointing thing about the statement, because obviously the longer it's gone on, the less and less chance it's going to get over the line. I think he admitted in the statement he might have to change some of his
expectations,
expectations
demands.
or demands regarding investors, because not everyone's is wanting to come in to and do a job like Simon has run the club. I mean, someone might want to do something a bit differently. So if they can come to some kind of agreement regarding how to take the club forward, then he has to sit down and kind of reevaluate things, because clearly that's what's kind of holding us back. Because if they can't agree on things, that's why they've probably fallen through. Or is it to do with the whole Rooney thing? We don't know.
No.
But yeah, you can't fault his statement. Honest, and like Gav said, he didn't call out Miron as such, but it was professionally done, and yeah, we move on and we look forward to the future.
Yeah, there's certainly, he was making his point in a professional way, wasn't he, with his points on Miron. And Andy, yeah, look, he is, as Carl's alluded to, he said in his statement that, he might have to change some of his demands or what he's trying to hopefully get as part of the deal. I think maybe he was expecting, a lot more to come of it. The deal that he alluded to at the Cornish forum, was definitely a mistake in sort of bringing it up, but you felt like he needed to sort of give something to the fans, and then obviously it didn't pay off. But I think if the right person comes in, and the biggest thing here for me is he's not just going, right, who wants to come and take it off my hands for X amount? Yeah, thank you very much, see you later. And then you end up in a situation where the club just ends up in a disastrous position. So
like Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, you have to give him credit for that, Andy, isn't he? Because he is trying to make sure that if he does hand this club over in any way, he does it properly.
Yeah, someone's put in the comment section about being a good custodian of the club. He is a very good custodian. He's put his own, personal wealth into this as well, and we can't forget what he's done for us. I mean, he's been with us since 2011, was it, when he took over? 2012, whatever like that. But he's kept us steady, kept the good ship Mayflower going, and I think he just wants to get to a point now where he can just be a fan and enjoy the football without the stress. So, and as Marcus said, we've got the best infrastructure in League One. He loves the infrastructure, and that's all coming to play through Simon. That's good business. It's short term investment for long term gains. And we've said it before, haven't we? So,
yeah, absolutely.
Very great.
No, it was good, and as he said, he's putting the team together that he hopes will take us forward. I know there was rumours that had come out about Andrew Parkinson going, but I believe that isn't the case anymore. So yeah, let's just hope clean slate and we move on, and with whatever appointment we make as we come to some of those in a second.
Put your hand up.
Mike, just one more thing I think is really worth mentioning.
Yeah, go on.
I think we looked in the statement because of the Miron nonsense. All of the current shareholders have said that whatever investor was coming, their input for the first year is going to be met by the 3 existing shareholders that have any weight. So no one's losing out in League One for the Bedwesters. We're not going to have any transfer budget. Exactly what we were going to have this year coming, whether we had investors or not, is on the table, and I think that's really important. Again, this is coming from Nick and Argyle Green, Simon, and the Hallidays. They're putting their hands deep in their pocket again, right, to make sure that we've got an entertaining product on a Saturday that can get us out of this league. So that needs mentioning, because this isn't money that they're finding on the money tree at the bottom of the garden. This is their hard-earned cash. So that I think really needs labouring.
Yeah, and it absolutely, and we're not gonna, everybody that wants to spend, we should spend £2, £3, £4 million on a player, and as they keep saying, when it's not your money, it's easy to say that, and it's right to make sure that you make these decisions, and it's not going to please everybody. As Marcus jokes, and we joke about it in our WhatsApp with Marcus on the infrastructure. We said it a few times on here, but that does build a solid foundation, for the club going forward. It is in, and we mentioned David Ray, who moves over to as CEO go to Bolton, has helped make sure that the club is in a good, strong financial position. So yeah, Alex Miles, there's been a few comments back and forth in the chat, but Alex says, agree with Matt, Ninja Matt, that is, Simon has kept us going and increased the stature and income for the club long term. Think of where we were before he arrived. It's chalk and cheese. And we said that before on shows, and I've emphasised the point. You could be in a worse position and have a worse chairman of your club. And sometimes people forget, what he did when he came in and took over and where we were then. So as an owner, what a fantastic thing being a fan as well. If suddenly your 5-year plan happens in a short space of time and you suddenly climb in the leagues and you're being successful, we'd all love to have and be in that opportunity. Absolutely. So a bold new chapter. New faces, strong foundations, taking us forward, the Green Army ready. So renewed fan excitement. And I think there is a bit of a buzz, isn't there, Carl? There's sort of the signings. Yes, the Miron thing that got everybody going a bit, mental. But I think we just are looking at that fresh move forward now. We're excited to see who we get in on a point and hopefully have a good season.
Yeah, I think obviously the relegation is still hurtful, but I think most of the fan base and us lot have been positive even after Miron's departure. I don't think that's going to affect us at all. I think we'll make the right decision in bringing in the next head coach, and I think the good times hopefully will start flowing back next season. But yeah, I think we're in a good place. The infrastructure obviously is going to be key to that, and obviously the new women's head coach is mentioned. That was a pull for her to come and join us, especially with Folkestone Park and the setup down there. So yeah, exciting times.
Cole, we nicked a manager from Stoke.
I know, it's a miracle.
We flew up the helicopter, which was actually a car, going waka all the way up the M5, and then we put her in the boot, and then we drove her back again. It was lovely, wasn't it?
It was.
It's nice to nick off Stoke for a change.
Well, to be fair, you'd want to escape out of Stoke if you could, wouldn't you? But it is good. And I was speaking to a friend the other day, I hadn't seen for a while at Torbay Air Show, and he's doing some work. I think he does electrical stuff and that at Folkestone Park, and he's saying they had a few builders down from Exeter, and they were very tempted to bury an Exeter shirt in the grounds there. So whether they did or not, but Exeter have got a very strong and successful youth setup. So that might actually give a bit of good luck to that. So, but yeah, that does show the commitment. You're right to point out, Carl, and, where we're going forward. It's about everything that's going on with the club, not just the first team. So on to the big topic as well so far. So finding the right manager, lots of media speculation, interesting rumours of who is coming and who is going and what people's views and thoughts are on that, which we'll touch upon a few of the candidates in a second. So certainly, these moments, although frustrating because you're having to look again, certainly do make it fun and interesting, that's for sure. So the board's selection process, we want to make sure, they want to make sure that they continue with the sort of style that's been employed recently, which, could again allude to or rule out some, sort of nominations that have, or shortlist people that have been put forward. Will it match, or will they match the philosophy of what they're after? So Gavin threw a few of the slides together from some of these people. So yeah, Gav, do you want to just touch up on that? What the board are still expecting and want versus then how and if some of these candidates will meet that or cause us to have to change them to have to want to change that philosophy?
Yeah, well, this has been the only thing that I've been thinking about every time I've seen another person connected with a club, right? So Andrew Parkinson, I think rightly, the board sat round when they were choosing a replacement for Wayne Rooney, said this possession-based tippy-tappy stuff. If you haven't got a Brazil or a Real Madrid type squad, you're going to really struggle against the top end of the Championship. Maybe we need to be a bit more direct. And this is where my research of Cercle Bruges hasn't been wasted. So looking at that as a philosophy, he was open and said, moving forward, we want a high press, we want more direct football, transition football to the pitch much quicker, no tippy-tappy out the back stuff, get the ball forward, which is what I think we watched in the last let's say 13, 14 games under Miron. So that's the philosophy they've nailed down. And then you've got to go to market for a new manager because one, as I say, burrowed his way out with a teaspoon under the fence and then got on a motorbike and buggered off. That was the Great Escape, actually. How funny is that at the end of it? I just so then you're going, okay, well, who have we got? And so looking at some of the sort of managers that have been, or head coaches that have been mentioned, do they have a hand in glove Miron Muslic, Cercle Bruges 23, 24 style of football? Some of them haven't, right? Some of them are very heavily possession based, 70% possession, but most of that running along the box of your own side of the pitch, going goalkeeper to back four. So are we going back there, or are they going to stick to their guns moving forward and say, no, we want to play further up the pitch, we want a high press, we want to get down the line as quickly as possible into the red zone and score? So that's what I looked at when I looked at this, because, you know, let's be honest, I don't think everybody is going to be hand in glove on this. And are they now thinking, well, we need to go with the best person, and then they set the philosophy? Back to the conversation we had earlier, really, about the director of football. If we had a very European director of football now, he'd be going, no, we've set our stall out. We're not playing any other way than this. Whoever comes in has to play this stuff. Move on. But I think we're still in this transition zone, which makes it really interesting.
Yeah, so I think Jack Wilshere is obviously Ninja Matt's favourite. I'm not really a manager person in the sense of I don't look into all of that sort of stuff. So I know Alex has asked, may have missed it, but no, you didn't. Who is the manager choice for each of you? I mean,
Jack's really interesting though, isn't he, Mike? Because Jack's only managed 2 senior games of football, right? And then he's been in an academy setup where Arsene Wenger or Mikel Arteta would have set the football philosophy for the club down from under 11s, right up to the senior squad. So has Jack Wilshere got his own style of football yet? I would probably say no. In which case, you know, if, and it's a big if Adin stays, Adin and Eddie know that philosophy really, really well.
Yeah.
And obviously now Nance has spent 5-6 months learning it. Will someone like Jack Wilshere come in and say, well, maybe we can adopt the style and play a happy medium? I don't know, which I think was what Carl mentioned earlier around, you know, it's not hoofball anymore, but it's more really Cercle Bruges from when they were going into Europe. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know, but I think from Wilshere, like fluidity being what you like, but I think it means at the minute the guy isn't really. He might have his own philosophy, but he hasn't got a coaching pedigree to say that's how I'm setting out my stall, is he?
Yeah, and that's where I think.
Can I just jump in quickly?
Probably a bigger risk with him. Carl, go on.
Victor Paulson had just scored at Hampton Park.
Yeah, I just saw the notification coming as well.
Cracking
it. Well, there you go. It's a good start to his pre-season. So, but yeah, so Jack Wilshere, Carl, you know, picking up on what Gavin said there, obviously Ninja Matt's really keen for him. Will the board go for someone that does have too much of a lack of real first team football if we're wanting to get straight back up there? You know, this is where, you know, although Tom Cleverley's record wasn't very good in his points per game, but, you know, what do you think to Jack Wilshere?
I'm not totally against it. I think given the choice of the main 3, I would kind of lean to more Cleverley because he's got that added experience. In a struggling club like Watford, who changed their managers like underpants, I know he had a poor end to the season, or they started well. Watford have always looked quite dangerous and decent when we played against them the last couple of years, which is a good sign. He's got a decent kind of a game plan, and his tactics and his structure are good. But Jack Wilshere kind of is quite exciting as well because he's at the start of his journey. Everyone needs to start somewhere. So
yeah.
These young coaches need to be given chances. I know it's kind of treacherous ground with our last few appointments have been disasters. I just hope whoever we go for. I mean, I'm not totally against Des Buckingham either. I think he's a strong candidate.
Yeah, we got him in a minute. So
obviously getting Oxford promotion a couple of seasons ago. Again, I think whoever we end up with, one of those 3, I'll be genuinely quite happy.
Yeah. So next as we just touched upon, and Carl as well there, Tom Cleverley. So he's got that championship experience. He is in a stronger position if you considering the two. If you were looking at them to sort of say, well, yes, he's a much better option to consider. I mean, Andy, what would you say? I mean, obviously, give your views on Jack Wiltshire as well, by all means. But out of these two.
Yeah, so he stands out for me, Tom Cleverley, just purely because of that positional intelligence he's got there. You've got it written there. Positional awareness, developing players. I think this is going to be ideal for people who just come to the club. Ibrahim and Caleb Watts, they're going to sort of benefit from his sort of style of football and positional intelligence. So I'd sort of lean towards Cleverley, although I'm not sort of dismissive of Wiltshire. I think he's a bit untried yet. So, do we throw him the gauntlet and say go and run with it and goes belly up? I think Cleverley's just edges it for me because of his experience at Watford, and as Carl rightly said, it's a basket case of a club, Watford, and sacking managers more than change of socks and stuff. So yeah, I sort of leaning towards Cleverley, but I wouldn't rule out Wiltshire either.
No, I mean, Gavin, what's your thoughts on Tom?
Having seen Watford 3 times, probably 4 times over the last couple of years, and then watched the odd game on Sky, I think he's got a part of the sort of Miron ball, to use a swear word. The high press is there. I think they like pressing teams that like to play a possession-based football where they stroke it along the back of the 18-yard box. So that bit works. But I think they like to go play through the thirds a bit more than we probably did last year. So, going back to Cole's happy medium, is this it? We've got some really good players in transition, and I think I enjoyed that transitional football last year more than I've enjoyed anything in the last 5 years, actually, where we were going to the pitch at a rate of knots and scoring really good goals on the break. That, for me, was high-octane football. I loved it. So if he can blend those two, I think he's probably the standout candidate. He's had a really good playing career. Not that makes a difference. We know that with Rooney or others that might be scouts and like slipping over. I don't know. But with his integrity, everybody, if you read Watford have said, a great human being, lots and lots of time on the training park. Really likes developing his players. They'll run over hot coals for him. All the man management stuff seems to be there in abundance, which is great. And he's young enough not to have an ego yet, I think, to maybe change his footballing style slightly to how we want to play. I think this year, if it is Tom, this year's a bit of an easy running because we're League One. I'm not dissing League One, but if you look at the calibre of the teams we're playing from August onwards to the calibre of teams we were playing last year, it's chalk and cheese, right? So if you're going to make mistakes, you make it in League One, don't you? If we do go up next year, and the squad we've got at the moment, I think does, no matter who's at the helm. This time next year, I think is the really interesting part about planning to be hard to beat in the Championship and consolidating for a couple of seasons before you belt on again. But for me, I think he's a great coach. I think he'd be a great appointment for the club, right age. Again, going back to that Foxy and Randall and Miron, Adin and Eddie, if they stay, they're all youngish people. Nance is probably the outrider in his 50s, but he's Mr. Plymouth and will mould all that together. So I really genuinely think that Tom Cleverley would be the preferred method, probably for the fans. I think definitely the squad, from what I've seen, and hopefully the board. We don't know that yet.
Yeah, I think you've summed that up brilliantly. I think that's where I would sort of lend myself, I think, then out of the two, and sort of Cleverly, in the comparisons with him and Rooney at United, obviously different level with respect with Rooney, but Cleverly always just came out and did his job, did it well, and got on with it, so he's never sort of come into the coaching with the sort of the aura around him and the expectation of Rooney. He's just come in, he's done what he's needed to do, and generally done that well. And I think, sort of great human being, as you said, that the Watford fans, will be something that will be very keen from a recruitment point of view at Argyle. It's not about the manager, it's not about any one player, it's about the club. And I think out of the two of them, just having that bit more experience. And at the end of the day, whoever comes in, and we will come on to two more now, but if they do well and they start well, there's always a risk that you're going to lose someone, aren't you? So it is the club weighing up that balance of do we take someone that has got a bit of experience, or do we go for someone that's lesser of an expectation to people? But Des Buckingham, sort of. Carl, do you want to start? Give your thoughts on Des?
Just in general, like I said on X during the week, it's whoever we go for, whether it's Wilshere, Cleverley, or Buckingham, whoever starts the season well will get clubs looking at them. It's just where we are in the food chain as a club. We're never going to be able to keep hold of managers unless it's someone like Nanskiville. It's just the process we have to go through. Anyone that's successful will get poached. It happens at bigger clubs in Argyle. It's either that or you get sacked. So the loyalty in football isn't there these days, and that's just the ruthlessness of club management. But does Des Buckingham another strong candidate? Like I said earlier, I think obviously he seems to play decent football when he was at Oxford in the promotion season and got them promoted. Again, another strong potential, but I think that the front two runners are the ones previous. But I wouldn't be disappointed if it was Buckingham. All these names are more inspiring than Ian Evatt, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, we don't have a deck on Ian Evatt, and he's because it would have just sent Andy over the edge.
Andy's just done his season ticket. So.
Yeah, but but obviously there was a news article today saying that he has been ruled out of the selection process. Yeah, I think with Des, Andy, coming to you, it's. Oxford did really well, got them up. That was just a shock one. They sort of started off really well, didn't they? Then they faltered, and the club, had to take what they felt was the action at the time. And actually, if we'd have done and made that decision, all in hindsight, absolutely, but at that time, it might have been a different story. Oxford obviously then stayed up, but it's he wouldn't be a bad option at all, would he?
You wouldn't. And I remember speaking to a lot of Oxford fans when I was on TikTok doing one of my Championship Chat lives, and they were shocked that he was gone because he got them really playing some good football down in League One, got the promotion, that discipline was there, that sort of fast flowing football, a bit like sort of Miron ball, and I hate saying that, Gav, but that sort of press as well, that high press as well, which is good. And he looks a good manager. He gets his players working for him, doesn't he? And that. The sort of precision he gets with his players as well. That press is just there, and it's effective.
Yeah, I mean, Gav, your thoughts on Des?
Look, he took a very unfancied Oxford team up by the playoffs, right? And I remember watching that game thinking, "Oh my God, they're actually going to do this." And was it 3-1 on the day or 4-1? Can't remember. But they trounced them, didn't they? And I think what I like here. He got an unfancy team up with an average budget, but I think he'd have learnt an absolute ton with his Oxford time in the champ. And I think if he is the pick, and again, I think I'm in the Cleverley camp, and I think I've probably just clearly articulated that. But if it is Des Buckingham, he knows how to get out of League One. He's had a sticky time, although a great start actually in the champ. And I think he'll learn a lot from that, and he'll also have some better resource and probably a more rounded club with better people around him. We talked about Randall, we talked about Fox, etc. So, and Des is only, I think, is he late 30s or early 40s?
Don't know.
So I've just had a look on FotMob, but it doesn't show his age. 1.3 average points per game for his time at Oxford, which is, considering he had a big chunk of the Championship when they were unfancy, it actually was a really good return, in my opinion. So I think he would do us. I don't think he'd do any harm in getting us out of League One, and I think he'd learn from what happened in League Two.
Yeah, I think you sort of both summed that up well. I think with the Oxford situation, and the Oxford board, and it's like, great, we got into the championship, and it was probably cold feet, and that forced the decision in the end to, as a way of, if we don't get rid of him and we don't change it and we go down, then we'll get accused of not trying to solve it by doing that. And obviously it paid off for them, fortunately for them. See how well they do next season. We scraped up obviously in the first season just, and then came back down. So yeah, I wouldn't have any major objections either if Des gets appointed. Mark is saying in the chat, what about Stephen Robinson? Well, funny that. So this one came out earlier on today, didn't it? And when you look at it, and if you like a wild card or far left of field sort of approach, he has very similar traits to the high press and all that sort of stuff that Miron employ, which the club are still really wanting to look for. So yeah, I mean, Gavin, what would you say on Stephen Robinson?
Well, going back to right to the beginning, right, where I said about Andy Parkinson's comment around, we want to be a high pressing team, we want to play quite direct football, etc., etc., etc. From everything I've read this afternoon, and I've been in and out of meetings most of the day, but the time I had to prep for this, he looks, as you right articulately said, the most hand in glove mini Miron. He needs to grow his beard a bit and probably become a little bit more arrogant. Although I've not heard him talk, to what has been suggested in the past. The other three have got a bit more expansive, a bit more possession-based football, a bit more free-flowing. This guy seems to be, and it's Scottish guys, isn't it? So let's be candid, the football up there, apart from the big 2 or 3, isn't always outstanding. But if you look at what he's done with the club he's had, certainly St Mirren, it does look very counter attack, on transition, possession, non-possession based, win games 1-2-0 with 30% possession. Here we go. It's a mini Miron. Ta-da. So, yeah. Would it surprise me now if he was appointed? No, not in the slightest.
No, agree.
Meltdown, and would I plough more money into my Unilever stocks? Absolutely, if he's appointed, because the bedwetters would be out of control.
Yeah, when I saw it posted on our WhatsApp group earlier, Steve put it in there, and I thought, I'll have a look at him later, and yeah, actually I thought it would be at times typical Argyle to do this. I mean, Wayne Rooney was a completely out there appointment, but after Schumacher leaving and all the names touted, then we ended up with Foster. Then obviously Rooney, and then with him going, and then Muslic, came out of nowhere as well. So it wouldn't surprise me, if they decide that they want to stick and maintain the style that they've been employed recently, and also the signings that they've taken on that would have been based on that. So, Carl, I know you're not. You called him an older version of Joey Barton, which, to be fair, that's not a bad shout. But you wouldn't have him then, Carl?
No, he's probably at the bottom of the list, if I'm honest, and that's probably why he's on the last of the slides as well. I think it just moves away from a young and ambitious coach because he's 50 years old. So I just think he'd be the cheap option, and probably the manager we go for if Cleverley, Wiltshire, and Buckingham all turned us down. I just think it would be not a great move, if I'm honest. I don't know much about him as a manager or his football, but I just think it's one of those appointments that would get the bedwetters wetting plenty of beds. But not for me. I'm not.
Yeah, far too many bed-wetting comments, I think, for one evening. Go on.
Old for anybody, especially a manager. We had someone at the beginning of the show wanting a 930-year-old Neil Warnock to take over for a year.
Yeah, Ben Collins.
Right? This guy's a proverbial spring chicken compared to the great legend that is Neil Warnock. So he's not old, is he? 50.
No, and look, I think Argyle will absolutely weigh everything up, and this is why, when we were calming Andy down in the WhatsApp group yesterday after all the Ian Evatt, he has renewed his season ticket now.
Ian Evatt. I don't want Ian Evatt, do I?
No, but you don't want them to rush. I mean, I know pre-season's coming and all that sort of stuff, but the worst thing ever is to just react, and they certainly wouldn't have or weren't clearly expecting Miron to go, so they wouldn't have had any prep to a degree. So there would have been a lot of late nights and burning candles to try and pull things together. But we absolutely need them to take their time and get this right, because we don't want another 6 months down the road where it's all falling apart again, and because that will really unsettle players, and all that sort of stuff. So it's let's hope that whatever they do, trust the process, as they say, and see what happens. But I think out of these four, for Tom Cleverley, I like the idea there. I think with him, Stephen Robinson wouldn't surprise me. Carl, who would be your pick if we
Although
just
I
went with
suppose
these four?
on the plus point with Stephen Robinson, because he's of an old, obviously older generation, but an older manager, and someone that isn't well known, maybe there'd be more loyalty there. If we did start the season well, he would, see out a contract we give him. But with Wiltshire and Cleverley, if they start well, there's going to be vultures circulating, isn't there? Not necessarily they would be for him.
Oh, he's done 100 odd games for St Mirren as manager, so he's not a flip flopper, and he's not looking to bounce around the ground. So that is a positive, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I'm just going to just try and quickly look on FOTMob. So, 148 matches, 152, drawn 36, drawn 30, lost 66. Look, I think, he is 50 years old, Northern Ireland. So I wouldn't be too surprised. But so your pick, sorry, Carl, out of those four, you would go with
Cleverley, Wiltshire, Buckingham, Robinson.
Yeah. Andy, your pick?
Yeah, just a quick word on Robinson. I mean, he's done well. He's done well with St Mirren to keep them sort of mid-table in the SPL for the last 4 or 5 seasons, probably. So that's some credit to him and the style of football he plays. In order of who I'd have as a manager or a head coach in this case, I'd have Tom Cleverley first. Then I'd go for Wiltshire. Yeah, then I'd go down the road again to same as Carl, really, Buckingham, and then Robinson. So yeah.
Yeah, and Gavin, Cleverley, clearly your number one.
Cleverley one. Buckingham probably my second choice, because I think he'll have that learning experience if we do get us back up in the Championship. Then it's a tough one. I quite like Stephen Robinson's profile. I've not heard anything about him yet, but from what I've seen, I think that's good. But again, Wiltshire, I think, will be young, hungry, and willing to learn. So, to be honest, I'm not going to be disappointed, and I'm not going to wet my bed to carry on the theme. If any of them get appointed, I think they're all got merits. I just think Cleverley's the standout candidate by a country mile for the reasons I articulated earlier. And I just hope the board are thinking the same way as we are, and that we offer him enough money for him to come down and live down by Europe.
Yeah, let's see. And Carl, you need to give up the comedy day job in the comments there. So you can read them at your leisure, folks. So that's the sort of manager review. Look, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Like I said, it's always frustrating when one leaves for whatever reason. Well, not really with Rooney in the end, but or Foster. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Look forward to someone new and someone different. And hopefully, with it being in the off season as well, there's still plenty of time to make the right call, like I said, and get things sorted. So, and just before I go on to the beautiful kit in front of us, and Carl is donning his today as well tonight. Thank you everybody who's joined us. Excuse me, tonight. You can find us across all major social platforms, so YouTube, as we're streaming to now, and X, as well as Facebook and Blue Sky. I still can't get used to, there's just too many of them. But yeah, you can go check us out there, look us up, Block 9 Podcast, and please give us a like and a follow. It all helps. We do wrap these up and put them on our podcast channel as well. So for those who can't make the live, can then listen to it at their leisure. So yeah, please go in, give that a review and catch up on there as well. So many different ways to see what we're up to. We do have and we said this, excuse me, throat's going a bit, at the end of the final session that we did at the end of the season, I should say, we have got some things that we're hoping will bring a bit of difference to what we want to do. We want to have that with what we do as our show as the Block 9. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. That's for sure. So and it gets us going. Just doing the unexpected live tonight, gents. I think with the news and all that sort of stuff, gets you back into the buzz again. That's for sure. So the new kit. Now, yes, there was leaked photos of our supposed kit, which ended up being correct, and we all went, that doesn't look good. And it just goes to show, when you got a dodgy photo, that it can make all the difference. And when this thing got announced on Sunday at 6 o'clock, and by the way, I don't know if they're selling that football, Carl. I know you've been in the shop, but I would absolutely buy that. Brilliant.
That
But
would look
yeah,
nice signed in a little case, wouldn't it, somewhere?
yeah, it looks absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I think the kit that was previewed had the badge part of the screen print as well in the material, which I was like, please don't cheapen that. Obviously, they announced Beacon Electrical as well as a sponsor again. Great little local business there. So, Carl, what's your views now you're wearing the kit, quality wise and look and feel for you?
Yeah, as you said, when the kit got leaked, I wasn't impressed. I know it's hard to go off a little grainy, rubbish photo, but I just thought, oh god, that looks horrendous. But in the flesh, it looks really nice. The qualities as it has been for the previous year's shirts, and the fit, yeah, it's really good. I love the designs, like the retro badges. I think that's a nice touch. And I'm slightly jealous because the women's shirts, the J2O sponsor, actually looks really, really nice on the shirt. And it's a shame they don't sell the women's shirts because I think that sponsor looks quite nice on this green. But yeah, beautifully designed, and I think the next few shirts will be bangers as well, hopefully.
Would you wear the women's shirt though, Carl?
Well, a man's version of the woman's shirt, Andy, not literally a woman's shirt. And by the way, I don't have Rooney on the back of this one. If anyone says anything.
Well, no, you don't have anything, Cogs. You're waiting for the individual appointment to do that.
Yeah,
cleverly done, that is.
Yeah. So no, I think I picked mine up tomorrow. Father's Day present has been given to me so I can't wear it straight away. But
you've got Forshaw on the back of yours, haven't you?
Say again.
Forshaw on the back of yours.
Yeah.
God, yeah. I'm glad that will come out too much this season now. But yeah, I think with all these, shirts, I hate the material on these shirts these days because it is proper cheap. No, I don't care how they try and announce it. The brands that use it, the material is not good. But yeah, the kit looks great, and I love the retroness. The Port Vale one as well that got noted earlier looked fantastic. And the one thing I would say to the media team, sort of because speaking from experience, that it's not easy. The video they put together to launch the kit, I thought was absolutely brilliant. So fair play to them. And hopefully, yes, Maxi in the shop there will be going nowhere. Who knows? But hopefully not. And I thought I'd throw in Graham Carey donning it at the TST.
Funny enough, Mike, the voiceover they use for the video actually sounds like Tales from the Block.
So funny you should mention Tales from the Block, Carl. Come on to that in a minute. But yeah, I mean, Gavin, anything, Andy, to say about the shirt? Are you going to be in a rush to go out and get yours? Have you got it already?
No, I haven't got it already, and I probably won't get it. I've just it's that collar. I don't like the collar for some reason.
I would suggest go to the shop and try it on and have a proper look.
Yeah, I might do.
I thought you used to wearing a collar, Andy.
Well, no, that's not a collar. No.
Yeah. Gavin, are you going to pick up the new shirt?
Only weekends.
I will probably buy one. I get one free on my diamond package, but I can get one signed. I think I'm going to get that signed. All right, Carl. So nice. You'll get invited this year.
Yeah, exactly. Well done. Yeah.
You won't be dissing it when you're sitting there having your canapes, will you, at 11:30? No, all joking aside, I will get it. I love it. I love the retro colour. I think it's amazing. I hope that the other two kits, I'm assuming it'll be white and some kind of random colour, pink or fuchsia or something, will have those colours too.
I've had the red and white stripes.
No, we won't be having that. I'll have to be hoying my all over it. But no, I think it's fantastic, and I love the the little nod to the history with all the badges and everything. I think it's been a marketing masterstroke, despite the early leak. But maybe the club did that intentionally. I don't know. You never know these days, do you?
No, exactly. And yeah, I think when I get mine, and I will make these available, you can see the Block 9 logo at the top there of this T-shirt. I may well be putting that at the back at the top. So, of course, when that's ready and available to buy, those of you that want to go and get that and get it put on your shirt, please do. You know, all helps advertise the show. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to getting it. So yeah, and it'd be great to see what the away kit looks like.
I just hope they go for like a Port Vale shirt. I'd love a proper retro one.
Yeah,
that would
sound special, wouldn't it? Really
yeah,
is.
it would look good. That
every kit in the EFL this year. That shirt is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. So yeah, as Carl alluded to, something new and different from us. For those that have checked it out already, thank you. They'll know what I'm going on about. But yes, like I said, like to try and come up with some sort of different sort of styles and different content. I'm a very big advocate of utilizing technology in many different things, and AI in particular, as I alluded to earlier. Yes, in the rush to pull stuff together, and we're very busy when we anyway, Gavin and I, yes, some errors do slip through, as we Carl pointed out, rightly so, earlier on the player transfers. But yeah, so I've had this idea for a while of trying to come up with some sort of story that we could put together, and obviously, you know, Roy of the Rovers style came in to that mix at times as well. And I thought to myself, you know, what can we do then? And for me, because I like to learn these things and utilize these tools. And so, yeah, I came up with a storybook, or a story and a tale. I did this graphic as we knew the kit was getting announced. And I thought I'd use that for the logo. So Tales from the Block, what's it about? So it takes sort of fiction and current events and drama, and tries to wrap it up into a narrated story audiobook for those that are used to that. So I do listen to a certain dramatization program or app, I should call it, Wondery, which does a brilliant job of all sorts of different stories, and it gave me the inspiration for this. So there's 2 episodes currently out. Episode 3 actually did go out live at 9 o'clock onto podcast channels and also to YouTube. So yeah, effectively starts off with episode 1, where it's sort of Julio Pleguezuelo, who is away, and yeah, it's true. It had to absolutely.
Had to
Block
be.
9 player of the season, Carl. Absolutely. So it just sort of make up a story about him being away in Spain on holiday and receiving the news suddenly about Miron, and then obviously coming back to what's happening at home park, and then the story moves on to the events that surrounded Miron and what happened there to give context to it. And then episode 3 has a further sort of twist on that with Joe Edwards. Starts off with them at the stag do of Danny Mayers in Amsterdam, receiving the messages as well. Cuts back to all the stuff going on back at home park. And that episode, for those that have listened to the first 2, which I know in particular in the end Ninja Matt has, this has different actor or narrated voices. Now, it is all AI based, and it's takes a bit of time to put it together, but there are certain voices that have been selected for all the characters, which some will make you laugh and some will be like, that's very random, but it is meant to be a little bit of fun. But the whole point of this series going forward is it will be a weekly series, and football is full of drama already, but this just adds a bit of fun and a bit of twist to it all. So go check it out now. Episode 3 is just shy under 11 minutes. The other 2 are 4 and 6 minutes. But yeah, look, let us know what you think, and also give it a review on your podcast platform as well. So something different for sure.
Where did you get that picture of Marcus, actually, Mike? It's a good picture of Marcus.
What, that one there?
Yeah, and you've got Steve in the background as well, though, with his hands in his pockets.
It's about his age, I suppose, isn't it? Don't you think?
In his dockyard days, wasn't it?
Work in the dockyard and play for Argyle at the same time.
And for Argyle at the same time.
Have 5 woodbines at half time as well.
So
Yardies,
look, yeah,
Yardies.
as I said, there's more content we're looking to work on going forward. And it's we just enjoy doing what we do at the end of the day. And yes, like I said, you can find us on all the main platforms out there. So please go check that out. And like I said, give a like or a subscribe, whichever one it is. Follow for that there. We also do have the block9.co.uk. I have taken down the infamous championship game on there because we're no longer in the championship.
To go beat the highest score today, Mike, and you put everything down.
Mike,
Yes, absolutely, Andy. Go on, Gavin.
Who was the overriding winner that's due a Block 9 mug?
I think it was my boy Josh.
Who was
it?
it?
It was still Josh. Yeah, it was still Andy's son Josh. Even though Ninja Matt set the benchmark at the start with that. But I will bring up for those that don't know and are just joining us. It was a Space Invaders style game where it had you chose your team, obviously Argyle in most cases, and then you had to avoid being shot and kill all the other football crests that were attacking you. A little bit of fun again. It was a little AI project for me. It just goes to show the power of what you can do with these tools if you know what you're doing. So there will be a League One version of that, and there probably will be extra bonuses for destroying Exeter City. So so we'll look forward to that. But yes, you can go and check out our website, theblock9.co.uk. You can see both shows, podcast shows on there for our normal lives that are taken from this, and also the Tales from the Block. So all that is available there. And we will be redoing the website and doing more to that as well. Also, we do have, our mug collection on there. Ben, who's in with us tonight, wants the maxi mug that actually I just did for myself. Yeah, Carl's got his, Gavin and Andy. We will be adding more merch, like I said, to that as time ticks along. So all good. It all helps towards what we do here. So other than that, really, there's not much more to say. I think it's been nice to actually get back into the swing of it and have everybody in. So we appreciate you all for joining the support. Carl, any final words from yourself or anything you want to add additional to what we've discussed?
No, I should probably go and spend a little bit of time with the wife now before she heads to bed. I've already had a few text messages, so I better.
You'll find she's just starting to hoy all your clothes out the bedroom window, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, yes, the mugs are back on Etsy. I'll pick up with you directly on that so we can sort it out. I haven't forgotten that you want that maxi mug, as I said. No, Carl, look, happy anniversary, and all credit to your wife for letting you go on, like mine wouldn't. But Andy, any final words from you, mate?
No, it's just been good to get back here again and to chat football. I've missed it. I do love chatting football with you boys, and just making some good friends and stuff on you. So I really enjoy it. Looking forward to the new season already. Can't wait to get back in my seat again to cheer the boys on next season.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gavin, from you, mate?
No.
Nothing. That's it. He's done.
Yeah, great to see some regular faces actually put in the comments again and a bit of banter. We probably need to get the brain in gear a bit better. Oh, Ben Collins, just wish you a bon anniversaire.
Cheers, Ben.
Very, very kind of him. Great to have some banter back with you boys. Really great to get some comments in. Disappointed Voodoo's not giving us any cutting remarks tonight.
He
put a couple of comments in earlier, but there's nothing that's caught me to my bone, which he normally does. Not this PP actually. PP must be busy, but there we are. So
he's in the States, isn't he?
Oh,
he's doing his round trip. Yeah.
I think I'm really looking forward to it, and I think, are we going to jump back on for the manager announcement? Is that going to be our next little?
Yeah, we will do. So coming on to follow up to this. So we will monitor that closely. I think you're going to be spoilt for shows when the manager gets announced, but we shall equally bring you ours. And of course, there will be a little slide deck with accuracies as well checked for you for that announcement as well. When will it happen? Will it happen next week or not? Oh no, I'm just dragging this out, Carl, so he can get more brief.
There will be a new feature as well next season.
I'm not being named on a Decree Nice Side Block 9 podcast Carl, go. Just exit now. Go.
I've just removed him. I've just removed him.
Have you told our viewers about our new next season? There's going to be a new little sort of bit coming on with guess the player. Right.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of also discussing with Andy about guess the player. It'll be a bit of a segment at the end of the show, and also for those that like to reminisce players of old. We are looking to do a little bit of a memory lane, which will probably be a pre-recording, but just to bring you some additional content. Because there's a lot of people that like to go through and look back and reminisce. So there's those and a few more. Got to be careful, don't overstretch yourself. Certainly this week, getting ready for this has been good to get back into it, as well as producing the tales. It's been a bit tough. What was that, Gavin?
Graham Dodd's comment, you've got to put it up. It's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
No, arseholes.
Good to see you, Graham. Good to see you. So, yes. On that bombshell, we'll end on that. But yeah, guys, keep an eye out on the channel. We'll let you know when we do go live next. It's been a pleasure having you watching tonight. Andy, Gavin, and Carl, who's now begging for forgiveness with his missus.
Off the floor.
So yeah, look, enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Like I said, go and check out the Tales from the Block. Appreciate the feedback. DM or post, whatever. Much appreciated. Share it around.